Good evening. How's it going today? Welcome to Imperial Pulls. I am still Joe, and there is no Brian. So we are on our own this evening. And let me just make sure that the microphone is good to go. Excellent. Awesome. So if you've joined us before, you'll know we like to open up random TCGs. And then we like to do jank packs where we open up a whole bunch of stuff. But tonight, because I am riding solo, I'm going to open up a couple of base set starter decks from Nostalgix. They've called it the Interdimensional Custom Card Game. And this is the Huntsman deck. This is the Mystery of Mako deck. This one is Keep Your Enemies Closer and One Mysterious Vial Started It All. In these decks, we're going to have a ready-to-play 50-card deck, a foil hero card, 4 dice for hero health and mana tracking, and a Nostalgix TCG How to Play Guide, which we will have to read after because we don't know how to play Nostalgix. A little bit about it, they have run a couple of Kickstarters recently. I don't know if it went through, if it fired off or not, but I know they were having a bit of trouble funding their newest set recently. I guess later last year. A couple of reasons might be the cause of that. One is just the flood of TCGs to the market over the past number of years. But they use it as a marketing thought. The reason they call it the Interdimensional Custom Card Game is they have a whole bunch of different characters, whether you get dragons or little cute bunnies or everything kind of in between. And the downside was that the complaints are that they aren't consistent, and we'll see that as we open things up. We're going to get a lot of different card visuals and layouts, so we'll check that momentarily. We've got in this set we've got 185 cards. And you got lucky frogs and powerful beasts and etc. And I think that we've actually had Brian and I've had these boxes around for a while, and we're gonna dig into them and see what we pull. So let's go with the Huntsman first. And tonight I'm not drinking a beer, as customary on our show. I am having a can of bubbly water. So if you have a beer, open it up. If you don't, have some water. Let's switch over to here. There we go. So there's the Huntsman box. I think it's kind of neat, this kind of odd shaped design, so you don't have just a typical box that you're getting. So it might stand out a little bit on the shelves as you're opening it up. This is a 2022. This is the base set. And let's get the Imperial knife out and see what we can find. Is there a right way to open it? Who knows? Oh yeah, I see a pull tab there. So let's get through the plastic and we will open and see what's going on. For those of you lurking in the shadows, thanks for joining. And if you're watching this later, thank you very much. If you join in the chat and you have played Nostalgix before, let me know what you think. There's our little pull tab. Super satisfying actually to open that up. Okay, so we have our How to Play Guide version 1.0. It's got your keywords, the evolution of your fighters. So the other thing with this game is it kind of took different elements from a number of different games. So you've got your evolution, kind of similar to Pokemon. You've got your play style, a little bit like Magic and Mana. And I guess that's another hard thing, is if you're borrowing from a whole bunch of different games and not really making it your own, will it be effective? It's really hard to say. So let's try to dig into this box. There we go. There are our dice. We got yeah, there we are, D10s, and our deck. And then we just got a little cardboard to get rid of here. So the Balask looks like is our top card here. We got 40 health. And let me just change screens here just a moment. Do. I had everything all lined up, and my computer, we were losing tons of frames before we actually went live, so I decided just to do a reset. Alright, there's the player's guide. Of course, the goal with all these games is how to win. You want to knock your player's health down to 0. Games, according to the website, last about 15 minutes. So there we go here. So here's what I'm after. So on this we have our hero name. We've got our health. The hero's ability. We've got a lore box or just some flavor text. Of course the set. And then the artist down at the bottom here. So let's rip into this and take a look what's inside. So before we get too far into this, one thing that we find is important as the design of the card itself is, of course, the back of the card. So let's take a peek at the back. Alright, so it doesn't really say much. Of course, you've got your big logo there, kind of mid-page. Maybe there's some relevance to the circle that's, or to the oval that's in the card game. We'll have to wait and see. I don't hate it. There's nothing super exciting about it, but it's not overdone or kind of blah like you get with some other card games. All right, so let's dig right in and see what we've got. So there's the Bilask is our hero. That's day 0 card. Morang. And one thing I am going to kind of keep an eye on is the different styles of artwork that are in here. Before we get too far, we'll just take a look at something here. So you've got your evolution. Again, I mentioned the Pokemon thing. Your evolution info is what it evolves from. So Morang evolves from Plundrak. It's a Marine, Lethal Marauder, and Swarming Beatdown are the 2 attack abilities that they have. There's the attack damage that it does, and there's your health. There's your weakness here, so 2 weakness here for the different elements. And over here you've got your very small text. Your resistance is what's here. So you've got 2 resistance to fire, and then 2 weakness to the other elements. Alright, let's take a peek. Plundrak. Another Plundrak. Pillfish. Does a sardine swipe. Cadaver. Cat. When this is voided as a result of battle, bring it back into play with 1 life as a cat token copy without this ability. Sucor. His attack is an Applejack. Deal 1 damage to another opponent's fighter. Demel. He's got Infectious Touch for 1. Voodoo. It's kind of fun artwork. I think that's probably my favorite one so far. I know we haven't seen too many yet. Makes sense that something that's a voodoo doll has pins and needles as its attack. Death Touch. If this deals damage to a fighter, destroy it. So that was one of the features that... there's 4 kind of core features here. And let me just go back one. You have Binding. So when a hero or fighter attacks, the opponent's defending hero or fighter is bound in place and unable to attack during their next turn. There's Taunt. The hero or fighter with this ability must be attacked before non-taunt targets. There's Death Touch. Any damage this hero or fighter deals to a fighter destroys the defending fighter. heroes are immune to death touch, so you can't just kill your opponent's hero just on nothing. Now, on the other side of things is life touch. Any damage this hero or fighter deals with attacks also heals your hero by an equivalent amount. But I definitely do like this artwork. So we got a few Voodools. Pigma, it's a beast. Roll a d6. If the result is even, deal that damage. If the result is odd, deal that damage to your hero. So that can get a bit dicey. Drask. So you can see here how different the artwork is from card to card. Anchar. Medusette. We're getting very Pokemon vibes here. Maximum Armor. Berserker Rage. Deal 2 damage to one of your fighters. Give it a +2 attack. Chains of the Deep. That is a Pokemon character. You can't convince me otherwise. Pins and Needles. Deal 2 damage to anything. Tunnel of Vines. Bind all enemy fighters. Bound fighters can't attack during your opponent's next round. Nope. When your opponent casts a spell, counter it. Just simple. Nope. And it says nope. Right there. Replica. When your opponent plays a fighter, summon a OATK taunt fighter token with life equal to the cost of the opponent's fighter. The shadow bubbled and rose, ascending to its full height to reveal your ultimate enemy. Reverse. We're playing Uno now. Negate a surprise activation. The player who owned that surprise draws a card. Repeat after me. No, you. The Squirrel of Distraction. I think it may not be my favorite art, but this is my favorite card just by the title. When a fighter attacks a target you control, choose another target you control. They attack that instead. Supermassive Slingshot. Revengerator. Looks a bit like Duke Nukem up there. Magician's Bag. Gain 1 attack for each surprise you have in play. Equipment on heroes is destroyed if the hero is damaged by an attack. Mysterious Vial. If you remember, the back of this box is it all started with a vial? Or is the Mystery of Mako? One mysterious vial started it all. And there is said mysterious vial. Destroy this at the beginning of your turn. If the equipped fighter is destroyed in battle, do 6 damage to the fighter or hero responsible. If equipped to a hero, give it 2 attack until end of turn instead. Mob Arena. Once per turn, during a player's turn, they may pay 2 mana to search their deck for a fighter that costs 3 or less mana. Reveal it and add it to their hand. They shuffle their deck afterwards. So, first impression on this deck is, yeah, there's a lot of different artwork style. It's not really cohesive, but I think that was their plan, right? Their interdimensional design was thinking that we're going to have a bunch of different stuff and try to make it look cohesive. Some fun artwork, some very Pokemon-inspired artwork. A little bit of unique artwork here with the Applejack. The overall design, they've got a lot of elements to what they're trying to get into the cards. So, we talked about here, there's your mana cost to play the card. There's your rarity indicator and your fighter type. So, in this deck, we've got 4 different fighter types. And then I guess different decks, you're going to have different kinds. And if you've got booster packs, whatever else, you'll see something different. So let's get into the Mystery of Mako. And ready for that satisfying... Let's go up here. Perfect. I think all booster packs should be like that by default. Let's see, the same dice. They are the same dice that come with each one. So I guess each set doesn't have a specific dice style or feature to them. There's our how to play guide. And deck number 2, we have our Detective Mako. Once per turn, you may pay 1 mana to reveal any face-down card or look at the top card of your deck. So let's just, we'll take a look there. And this one, the health on your hero is 40. And of course there's your feature. So let's open this up and see what happens. Okay, so we've got a shiny fox. Detective Mako is a fox. We have a Cerbercat, which evolves from Litty, I suppose a little kitty. A cat. Reveal all surprises your opponent controls. Hyper Heat. Deal 2 more damage for each surprise you control. A Litty. There we go. So that would be the unevolved version of the Cerbercat. Litty's is, when this is played, reveal 1 surprise your opponent controls, whereas the upgrade reveal all surprises. So kind of neat that as you upgrade and evolve, you get a few extra features. Also, Litty doesn't have 4 legs, but this Cerbercat is a full-grown cat. Lumoth evolves from Lunarva. Winged. When this fighter is played, you may return all surprises your opponent has in play back to their hand. Lunar Blast is 5+. Choose a card from your opponent's hand. They reveal it. If it's a surprise, this attack does 5 more damage. So you're already doing damage to them, and you're going to get 5 more depending on what you pick from their hand. There's your Lunarva. Again, the Lumoth comes from the Lunarva. Makes sense. Larva, moth. Fiend. When this fighter is played, you may send a surprise your opponent hasn't played back to their hand. Witchy Longlegs. Mage. Adjacent fighters have no weakness. Hat Trick 3. Party Trick. Roll a dice. If the dice is even, draw a card. A good way to build your hand up. See, again, the style is so different with the artwork. It's fun, it's entertaining, but is very strange. Fish out of water, marine, immune to binding. Which is funny because he's got chains on him, but is immune to binding. Breakout 6 and the Pretender. Remove the weakness from one of your fighters. They are now immune to binding. Spook Raider. Spirit. Each of your fighters is immune to binding. If a fighter attacks this, deal 2 damage to that fighter. And this evolves from Spookula, which perhaps is the next card. No. Hey, Lucky Frog. Each player draws 1 more card at the start of their turn. Charge. This fighter can attack immediately. So I guess like an instant or a swift. Legendary Lily. Roll a dice. If the result is even, draw a card. There's a Spookula. It's a spirit. Immune to binding. If a fighter attacks this, deal 1 damage to that fighter. Friend, but it's an acronym. F-R-I-E-N-D. Let me see if I can read the small text. Fiend. Down here. If there are multiples of these in play, you may stack them and add their remaining life together at any time. Stacked fighters count as 1 fighter and are worth 1 prize counter. They can't be unstacked at any time. That's kind of a cool mechanic. Are there other games that do that? I'm not sure. Where you can stack cards and then multiply them, but cannot unstack. Fist of Friendship is 2 times. Deal 2 more damage for each Friend stacked on this fighter. and they're having Zabacola. So that gives you a little bit of scale. We laugh about the giant scorpion and those kind of things in other card games. But here we have these little bottle caps. So this little friend is just a tiny guy. Mirage. As a mage, this fighter can use attacks of any opponent's fighter. Pelega is a dragon. If this fighter damages a hero, bind one of that player's mana. Mimicus. Fiend, if your opponent destroys a fighter of yours, stack it under the card instead of placing the fighter in the void, and give this fighter +2 health. Metal Card Flick. Deal 2 damage to anything. Draw a card. I don't think I've ever seen a card game have its own card inside the card game. Payoff. That's a cute one. Draw 1 card. Restore 5 health to your opponent's hero. To your opponent's hero? Oh, I don't like that. Rewind Time. Choose one of your voided spells, surprises, or equipment. Reveal it and place it into your hand. With the power to turn back time, it has achieved immortality for itself and its friends. Springboard. Return a fighter and all equipment on it to its owner's hand. That's fun. Nope. We've already seen that one. When your opponent casts a spell, counter it. Reverse. Saving Grace. When a fighter would be destroyed by damage, instead it is left with 1 health, healed of conditions, and is immune to everything for the rest of this turn. Yellow card. If your opponent plays 3 or more cards during 1 turn, you may activate this card. Draw 3 cards, then discard 1 from your entire hand. It will follow the commands of those who summon it until its dying breath, even if that means inventing penalties to do so. Another Revengerator. Laser Pointer. Target can't be damaged by spells or hero abilities directly. Mass damage effects still apply. Equipment on heroes is destroyed if the hero is damaged by an attack. Very good at distracting spellcasters, especially cat and fox mages. That checks out. Mysterious Vial. Game Show. Each player plays with surprises and the top card of their deck revealed. Huh. And again, they've inserted their own cards inside the card game. A little bit of Inception happening there. All right. So just a short episode this week, but let's go back to the other camera. There we go. Overall, I like some of the mechanics. I like some of the abilities of the cards. Again, it feels a little bit disjointed in the art style. I think that's where games like, Magic, when they have their sets that come together, they are very cohesive. Genesis Battle of Champions, the same idea. Their artwork keeps improving every set, and you can tell that the art direction is really solid too. On the note of Genesis Battle of Champions, if you're watching this live or within the next few weeks, there is a Kickstarter running right now to advance the printing for the next set, and a few other things kind of down the road. If you want to go to Kickstarter and check out Genesis Battle of Champions and contribute over there, that would be great. Imperial Polls, we have contributed to the Kickstarter to get some cards going, so we're excited to see some more stuff come down the road. Let us know what you thought. Nostalgix, there we go, and let's check out those 2 foil cards. They are very dark, but this guy looks like a little mouse with a bird, and the other is a fox. Let's see if you can see it there. The fox is quite dark. This one here. Oh, amazing. Thanks for joining us. If you want to find us later, you can go on social media, and you can find us on TikTok, Facebook, Discord, or Blue Sky. We do have a Twitch, allegedly. We just haven't used it. And they are all at Imperial Pulls. You can also find us at imperialpulls.com, which will take you actually right to this YouTube page. And if you want to get a hold of us, whether it's about suggesting some card games we open, if you have stuff to send us that you'd like us to open, anything like that, you can send an email to either myself, Still Joe, or Brian, who is not here tonight, as you figured out, to hello@imperialpulls.com, and let us know what you think. If there's a new game coming, if there are other games in development, or just some other TCGs that you think would be fun to see on the show. Brian and I don't always get a chance to learn to play them all, but we do enjoy opening them and seeing the artwork and the style and the mechanics. And it's been a really cool adventure. I guess we're on episode 93, somewhere around there. And we've discovered some really, really cool card games. So we hope that you'll check us out next Tuesday at the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. And we'll catch you then. Thanks.